On today's segment, we're going to cover the growing popularity of virtual reality, known as VR, as well as the visual engine called Unity. VR can be used for many simulations, including video games, piloting, mapping, construction, medical purposes, and many more. The concept of VR started way back in the 1990s when Sega announced the Sega VR. Another landmark that isn't too well known is the launch of Google Street View in 2007 and the subsequent 3D mode in 2010. The modern VR as we know it emerged when Oculus came out with the Rift in 2012, including a headset, motion sensors, and more sophisticated technology. Since then, the HTC Vive and Sony's PlayStation VR have joined the market. So what does this mean for Hampshire College, which is the 6th best college for video game development in the country? We asked the student VR development team for their insights. Here's what Div 3 student Hunter Golden and Div 2 student Elijah Chamelli have to say.
I think there's a few different ways that VR takes gaming to the next level. Anytime you have a new medium to play, or a new way to play, if you will, it always changes the rules, and there's always more to be learned and different ways to experience that space. And this is certainly true for VR, where you can really interact with your environment. The controls are completely different than traditional gaming, or what we would consider to be traditional gaming. So I think just in that sense alone, VR really elevates what it means to play a game or to have a game, and really can put you into that experience and give you a new level of playing.
VR really changes the way that game designers are able to create the game. By changing the way the controls are set up, they can really change the way that they approach the design process. From when we had solely just controllers to hold on to, there were button layouts that were somewhat arbitrary. I mean, they were comfortable and all that, but really what VR has done is allowed creators to explain their story in a new way, to tell their story in a new way by allowing their player base to take a hand in the goings-on of their world. They are given direct authority to manipulate and be a part of their game. This really changed the way that people are able to play and experience all sorts of things, from not just gaming but social media, etc.
One engine we see widely used with VR technology is Unity, created specifically for 2D and 3D gaming. It runs on almost all platforms, including PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Android, and iOS. It also contributes to many other open source programs, making it much more accessible. It's designed for game developers, but has drawn the attention of gaming enthusiasts because of its flexible cross-platform coverage.
The Unity engine is a super helpful tool for developing new games. There's tons of features and support. The community is really great, and I would definitely recommend it if you're interested in getting into game development or game design, anything like that. It's a great place to start, very accessible, and you can basically do whatever you want with it. The sky's the limit if you're willing to spend the time and put in the effort.
The Unity engine is really helpful for developing new games, especially for people who are just getting started. It caters to people who are interested in programming, people who are interested in game design, people who are interested in 3D modeling and potentially getting into animation. A lot of the work that I do with Unity is the 3D modeling, using some of the prefabs to do simple layouts, bringing in models from other programs to lay out larger, more intricate levels, things like that. And so I think the biggest way Unity engine has helped game development is it allows people of all areas of game design to come together on a single program and work together cohesively.
With the introduction of Intel's Hades Canyon NUC, smaller VR-capable hardware is coming to the market, which removes the hassle of building a dedicated computer. Sony's PlayStation 4 VR project will bring VR to consoles, giving more people access, and thereby expanding the reach of VR.
My suggestions to make VR more accessible. I think definitely if there were more places where people could experience VR, or they could go play without having to purchase a big setup, get their own computer, and install it themselves, people would sort of know what they're missing out on. I think right now it is an issue with accessibility, and there's a very high financial barrier to get into VR or VR development if you're just somebody who's very interested in it and perhaps a student or in middle school or high school, something like that.
VR, I believe, is already becoming more accessible. While there's still a huge price barrier to get into VR in your own home, there are places that are selling VR time, where you can actually sign up for a time. You can pay for a certain amount of time to use the VR at a location, from games to social media, all kinds of things.
Apart from gaming, this is where I think the opportunities for VR are really exciting. There are all sorts of different fields that haven't even been explored that VR contributes to. People are talking about using it for training simulations, help in the medical field, finding ways to improve current and existing structures and systems that we use today. And I think that's going to be even more exciting than what people end up doing with it game-wise. So I'm really looking forward to that.